This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, welcome to my holiday home tour. Come on in. Actually, the first thing I want to show you is this wreath that I made. It's a little bit dead right now because the sun beats down on it pretty hard, but I really love how this turned out. I made this at a local shop here around Costa Mesa, and the lavender smells so amazing, and I love the mix of the different greenery to make it sort of California winter style. It doesn't really match the rest of my holiday decor, as you'll see, but it's in a different space, so I think it's okay. So hi, like I said, I'm filming a holiday home tour today. It's honestly not extremely different from a regular home tour, but I honestly love filming these videos and I love watching them back too. I just watched my last one back and I feel like it was over a year ago, and our apartment was so different and we were so different and everything was so different. So I feel like these are really fun just sort of to personally have, but hopefully you guys will enjoy it too. So let's get into it. First things first. This is the office, and this is probably maybe the most different from what you guys have seen in my past video. Again, this apartment has had so many different iterations of layouts and furniture, so maybe you guys have seen some other things sort of like in between in vlogs or whatever, but this is very different, especially from my last home tour. So first things first, right here, I have these framed photos of our wedding. I got them printed with Artifact Uprising, and I just love the quality of them, and they make me so happy to, it makes me so happy to look at them throughout the day because it's in a spot that I see all the time. And so this is the huge desk, and this is pretty much the only place that it fits in this apartment. Nick actually made this. He used to work in an office where he needed a big desk, and he made this, and then when he left that job, he brought this home to our apartment. And when he brought this home, I actually had my own desk too against this window right here. It was like an IKEA little cabinet that I got in the as-is section, and I put a top on it. And it was really great, but it didn't make sense for me to have two huge desks in this little tiny apartment, especially because I work from this little spot in the kitchen, I work from our table, I work from here a lot, and this is honestly big enough that we could both work side by side at it. So I ended up selling my little desk, which is fine. And I actually really like how this looks in here. It's nice to have the workspace separate from our living space, which I'll get to in a second. But anyway, so this just holds a ton of Nick's camera stuff. His computer is under here and our printer. And yeah, this is his humongous desktop. It can actually be lowered, which is nice. So it's not so huge, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a huge black box. What can you do? What I did actually is I tried to sort of distract the eye by hanging some photos above it. These photos are from a designer that I really love. I think his name's David Klein, and he did a lot of designs for like travel posters in the 50s and 60s. So I really love these three posters. And then as you can see on the top, I have some cedarwood garland. And I just think it adds a really nice little touch of natural color and festive charm in this little corner of our office. Over here, there's a little remnant from when my desk used to be right here because I had this plant hanging here. But now I don't want to move it because I already drilled a hole into the ceiling, so it's just staying there right now, even though it's sort of out of place. And then we also have these two chairs that we got on OfferUp. And they're sort of just pushed into the wall, into the corner, but then we use them a lot to like sit and watch a show or eat even. They're just nice to have right there. We can move them around our space easily. And then you just twirl around and you're right in your kitchen. It's as easy as that. So the first thing that I've added, I think since the last tour, is this little cart. I actually had this in my closet and I added it to the kitchen just for some extra storage. So I have a lot of our bulk stuff in here. I like to buy in bulk when I can, but I also have to be really careful about cross-contamination. So some of this stuff was actually purchased in like big bags from different websites online and then transferred into containers like this to keep them fresh longer. And then I also like to buy in glass because glass is easily recyclable in my city. So that's what I have here. I have lots of bulk tea. I have bulk popcorn, some stuff in cans and stuff too, but pretty self-explanatory. This is our Berkey. This is how we filter and purify our water. This is our Instant Pot, and it's how I cook most of our meals because it's so quick and easy. This bowl was my mom's and I just use it to hold some of our fancier everyday napkins that I love. I'm gonna make gingerbread cookies later, so that's what these little vintage cookie cutters are for. But other than that, not much has changed in here. It's still very tiny, there's still very little storage, and we're still using rags instead of paper towels. Okay, now let's talk about Christmas trees, shall we? This is my Christmas tree. I love it. Nick and I have been collecting these ornaments since we've gotten married, and it's just so special to hold on to them and decorate with them every year. So when we first got married, I bought a white artificial Christmas tree from eBay secondhand, and I was very, very excited about it. I feel like it'll always have a very special place in my heart, but I ended up selling it a couple years ago because I think that artificial trees are a little bit more sustainable, at least in my experience, in my situation, because I can compost my tree easily in my curbside compost, and then my city also has a tree recycling program, and our white tree was getting a little bit worse for wear, and so we would have had to get rid of it eventually anyway, and then it would have just ended up in a landfill. It might be in a landfill now, actually. I sold it to someone, but that was a couple years ago. That's really sad to think about. But anyway, this is sort of like a controversial topic in the eco-friendly world, I found. People have a lot of different opinions, and that's fine. My opinion is that a real tree, as long as it's from a tree farm that doesn't cut down trees from some endangered place in the world, is more sustainable because it can be composted at the end of its life and not end up in a landfill. Plus it smells really good too, so there's that. These are some more of those little LED lights that were in the Westfalia that we brought inside for the season to just add some festiveness to our place. Over here on our little dining table, I just have this little vintage bowl with some different things, some different little vintage ornaments, little pine cones, beads, this little Santa mug that I thrifted. Again, I think in the first year that we got married. So I just think it's really fun, and I have it on top of this little book. And even though we have such a small space, I love how warm and inviting it feels with our Christmas tree, even though it sort of pushes our furniture together a little bit more. It's really homey, and it's really us, and it's really just fun. And walking through the living room, you'll see this basket of guitars. These are all Nick's. And then these are some plants that I'm propagating. I'm actually in the process of transferring this one to soil because it needs soil. It's getting very sad, but it's a process, okay? It's gonna be fine. And then back here we have our dresser. This was actually a space-saving solution that's worked out really well for us. In different times we've had our couch pushed all the way up against the wall and then this dresser on that wall, but it definitely just won't fit, especially with the big desk in here now. This is the best way that our furniture fits in our living room, and I really like it because it creates this little like almost dressing area back here that's close to our bedroom. I love my essential oil diffuser, so I have it off right now for sound for the video, but I have some like holiday festive scents that I love to always have going in there, and then this is like an ugly part of our apartment that I tried to make cuter. So this is just our wall heater that we don't use right now, and I just have our stockings on it. It's cute, right? It's better than just an empty wall, so yeah. And then over here behind our dresser is where I also keep my produce bags and my little market basket that I'm so obsessed with. Oh, look I can hold it like this. I don't though. It has little wheels on the bottom, and I bring this to the farmer's market and the flea market. And Nick always makes fun of me because it's like almost a little bit too short for me to use comfortably, but I love it and I don't even care. And it's honestly so much easier to have a little rolling cart than to have like bags or baskets that I just carry. And it's just so cute. And I love how it just looks back here in our living room. And then this gallery wall is another newer feature that I've sort of changed up since my last home tour. When Nick left his old job, he brought a lot of his artwork home that he had in his office, and so that's why we have the Futurama poster and some of his like anime stuff that he's into. It's really important to me when I'm thinking about putting our space together that I'm thinking about Nick's style as well as my style. I honestly wouldn't have picked a bright orangey red couch, I would have gone with something more neutral. That's sort of like a representation of him, and then I sort of bring my style in with the natural elements and the vintage and the plants and stuff. So I really like to be able to mix our styles together because obviously we both live here and that's important. Okay friends, we're almost to the end of this video because we have a very small apartment, but I also just wanted to show you a couple of things that we've updated from our last home tour video in the bedroom. So let's go. So there's not a ton of like holiday decor in here. We just have these lights that are around this big locker storage unit that I have a whole video about and I'll link for you if you're interested. And then I have my absolute favorite side of the road free find, which is this amazing vintage chair that I have right here in front of our window. And then we also have our last string of lights that was in the Westfalia that we put over our headboard underneath the fabric that I have on there, and it looks really pretty at night, and it's just fun to have lights in here, sort of like ambient lights at nighttime. And I wanted to say thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video without interfering with the content. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that you can use to host your blog, website, online store, or portfolio. They have beautiful templates that are customizable. You can leave them the way they are, or you can really jazz them up with your own details as well. And Squarespace also has award-winning 24/7 customer service, so if you ever have any questions, they'll be there to answer them for you, and there's never anything to patch or upgrade ever. So if you want to get started with a website of your own, use my code that's linked in the description below for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And that's all I have in my holiday home tour. I hope you guys enjoyed. It feels so good to be filming again. Thank you so much for just sticking with me, guys. I really appreciate it.